We're here to give you and the citizens of Kentucky an update on where we are in this weather situation that we've been dealing with since April the 22nd. After a full day of heavy storms and rising floodwaters, we continue to call upon Kentucky citizens to remain vigilant as the last storms sweep across this state. Weather officials are investigating reports of possible tornadoes and wind damage in several areas across the state. Further storms are possible tonight, especially in the south and eastern portions of the state. Very importantly, no injuries or fatalities have been reported to us at this point. Kentuckians have endured days of consecutive severe storms and flooding, and we remain in contact, obviously, with local emergency officials as well as FEMA to make sure that our communities get the help that they need. We stand ready to assist any community in need, and we urge Kentuckians to remain on alert until this storm system finally passes. The latest weather information we have indicates that this storm system should pass through Kentucky finally tonight, late, or early tomorrow morning. And we're certainly hoping that it does. We have instructed local officials to begin assessing damages from this storm as quickly as possible. The damage assessments will help the state deliver needed services and will determine if the state qualifies for a federal disaster declaration. Possible tornado touchdowns. They've been reported in Cumberland, Hopkins, Grayson, Hardin counties, and damages to homes and businesses have been reported in Clarkson and Grayson County and Glendale and Hardin County. Since the beginning of this storm system late last week, parts of western and west central Kentucky have received as much as 10 to 14 inches of rain. The Ohio and Mississippi rivers continue to rise and may reach historic flood levels, especially near the Kentucky-Tennessee line. Further rounds of severe weather are expected through this evening, with significant flash flooding, damaging winds, and tornadoes possible, primarily over eastern and southern parts of Kentucky. As you know, on Monday I declared a state of emergency all across Kentucky to allow local officials immediate access to state resources to assist in public safety and recovery efforts. Since the storms moved in late last week, 38 counties and 17 cities have declared local disasters. Citizens are encouraged to report damages immediately to the local emergency management office and the National Weather Service at 1-877-633-6772. The Kentucky National Guard has deployed 125 guardsmen to assist in water barrier and sandbagging efforts in Livingston, Ballard, Henderson, Ohio, and Fulton counties. More guardsmen may be deployed as needed. The state's Emergency Operations Center is activated at Level 3, which means all state cabinet liaisons are present to assist the emergency management team in resource request and incident management. State officials also remain in close contact with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers as they monitor the levels of dams and rivers. Both rivers are still rising and could pose significant flooding risk. The Kentucky Department for Public Health and local health departments across the state continue to be prepared to provide support to response efforts as needed. The Department of Public Health reminds Kentuckians that contact with floodwaters should be avoided whenever possible, as they may contain contaminants that would pose health risk. Homeowners whose homes sustained water damage are also urged to follow safety recommendations to limit mold damage and ensure proper food handling and storage. The Transportation Operations Center of the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet continues to receive reports of road closures due to high water and slides. As of Wednesday afternoon, the TOC had reports of more than 200 road closures in at least 57 counties attributable to high water, mud, and rock slides and other problems associated with the extreme weather. KYTC engineers will be able to conduct detailed assessments of damages to roads and bridges once floodwaters recede, but flooding typically leaves behind buckled or washed out pavement on roadways and shoulders, embankment failures, and eroded roadbeds. Damage to some bridges is also possible. Kentucky Transportation Cabinet continues to provide equipment like pumps, dump trucks, and sandbagging machines to counties who have requested them. Crews are patrolling flood-prone areas and are ready to respond to additional flooding. As you know, yesterday I signed a Consumer Protection Executive Order at the request of Attorney General Jack Conway to implement Kentucky's price gouging laws effective Monday, April 25. In terms of a federal disaster declaration, there are two sets of criteria that must be met in order to qualify for such a declaration. One is a total damage figure, and Kentucky has exceeded that threshold. We do qualify from the basis of total damage occurring so far. Another threshold is a threshold per county, and we continue to work with each of our counties that have been affected by this weather to help them tally up the damages that are occurring in each county as a result of this storm pattern. Obviously, some of the damage is unknown yet because we won't know the extent of all the damage until the waters actually recede and we can see what the waters have done to roads and bridges and other parts of each county. We are hopeful that we will have some fairly solid figures from one or more counties in the next couple of days that will tell us whether we can move ahead expeditiously to ask for a presidential disaster declaration.